And yes, you're here at the Suicide Prevention Show. We are waking up the world and making suicide, especially teen suicide, a thing of the past. And I'm very happy that you are with me because we are going on another piece of the journey. This time, we're going to go into a part of the journey that we all deal with. We all complain. We all know people who complain. But what if you could get beyond complaining? That you can actually vent so people can hear you. Being heard is such a basic human need. And to take us on that journey, please help me welcome Camy into the studio. So Camy, get to wave your magic wand and poof, appear. There you are. Hey, woo!
Hey, hello, Jackie.
Hello, Camy.
How are you?
I am excited to see you. How are
I'm
you?
ecstatic. I'm just so ecstatic. Thank you so much for putting this for all of us.
Aw.
Oh my goodness, this is such a wonderful cause. And I feel honored I'm part of it. Oh my goodness. I feel like so honored I'm part of it.
Well, I am just so incredibly grateful that you could join us today and that you have this. I mean, let's face it. If we're going to talk about one of the things that is potentially, to use words I don't often use, but I can't think of a better one, wrong with the world, it is that we spend so much time talking about what's wrong.
Correct.
Yeah. I can't think of anything that makes this good.
Well, we talk about all these things and then we wonder the reason those things keep on coming, keep on multiplying. I mean, what is it that we do? We count the death, right? In this lifetime. So what do we get? More deaths, so how about, shifting a little bit into life? Because that's the reason we're here. We're here for such a short period of time. And I think we're here to do amazing things. And that is the reason that we are not, is because of our focus. We are not able to accomplish more than we accomplish.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So we're not able to accomplish more. And we're not able to accomplish more because we're complaining.
Yes.
Oh.
Correct.
So what's the cure for complaining? I mean, we're all really good at it.
All right. So let us travel a little bit in time. Oh. And when we were babies. Right? When we were babies, what do? Right? When we don't like something, we vent. Right? Like we just throw tantrums, right? Or we can throw tantrums. And we don't get much better with age.
Well, unfortunately, it worked when we were babies. We got what we wanted. We got positive reinforcement for this.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't really work. Like, I mean, it's like in today's world, it doesn't work that way anymore, right? Because then as we grow up, in other words, what I'm wanting to say is that as we grow up, we figure out that that's not working. So we need to do something else. Yet the vent still keeps keeping on. So let me take you into the vent formula. So the V stands, I absolutely love things to make them easy to remember. Mm-hmm. So therefore I love acronyms. So the V stands for validate. Mm-hmm. E stands for explore and for navigate. And T, always being thankful for everything, even the wrong stuff, even the negative stuff, even the everything that it's like, that it's not good. Be thankful for it, simply because we will notice going through the formula that everything is for a reason. All right. We may not know the reason. Yeah. At the beginning. Yeah. Everything is for a reason.
Okay. So I'm going to say we've got the formula, but let's come back a step.
Yes.
What's your story? What happened that you decided you needed a formula for this whole conversation?
Well, Jackie, that is such an amazing question. Thank you for asking it. Well, what happened is that I started back when, just a few short years back, as a massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that is the career that I have chosen, and I loved it. I embraced it, and I learned a lot of things, and I realized that I started to get really good at it. What I chose in massage therapy is it's deep tissue. So it's basically taking care of people left and right, like sciatic nerves, a lot of pain. So basically my therapy, so-called, my therapy, my visits were very, very, in a way, painful, because I would do pressure points and movement mixed with movement, as well as stripping of the muscle. So of course I had no clue. I realized quite quickly that I had no clue how to communicate. People were coming, and guess what they were doing? They were venting to me, yet they were venting with no reason, right? Because of course they were coming, oh yeah, and the reason that this is that, and this and that. So they were going, and I was going, okay, what am I going to do?
I want to be clear. They were venting without a system. They were
without a system, just like that, like we vent, like we vent.
Okay.
And they were pointing fingers at people, and I was there like, oh my goodness, so what am I supposed to do? Well, I started giving them my opinion. That did not go over too well, because yeah,
waiting for you to be this amazing guru that they loved, Camy.
yes. And I was going, I mean, something as simple as, well, I wouldn't really give it too much importance to that, and it would have them blow up, because that little statement, right? It was something else underneath it, because we don't know, right? The layers that people were having. And I was like, oh my goodness, all I said is like, I wouldn't really worry about that. Like I wouldn't think about it too much. That's all I said. So needless to say, I was not having too much success in that domain.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to realize too, I was doing this in like 4 different languages. So in neither language, never mind.
Hold it. 4 languages. What languages do you speak, Camy?
Well, I'm from Romania. I was born and raised in Romania. So Romanian was a given, because it's my natal, my mother tongue, my language, my mother language. And then we ended up traveling all over the world. So I picked up Spanish. We were in Spain for a couple of years. And then I picked up French, because we were in Quebec, yet I had French teachers from actual France. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up also about half a year or so in traveling around in Paris, in the all over Europe, about 4 or 5 months. We were traveling all over Europe. So so we ended up in France, and we ended up in Germany, and we ended up in Austria, and we ended up in Austria. From Austria, we came here. So I did learn and end up learning German, yet I'm not fluent in it anymore.
And then you ended up with English.
And then we came here. We landed in 1985.
Where is here?
In Canada, here in Canada, as in Montreal. And then we ended up in Quebec City. So I ended up spending a year there, learning French. And then we went down to Toronto. And that's where I started my English language.
Wow. How old were you when you learned English?
Oh my goodness. Learning English, I was about 16. I could say 16, 17. I turned 17, I think that winter.
Yeah.
So going to Toronto. So
being multilingual and having a multilingual clientele, you were hearing complaining in all kinds of languages.
Oh gosh. Indeed. So I said, okay, I have to learn something that will make it easier in any language, right? In English per se, I do teach the vent formula, yet it kind of goes in the same. I kind of translated within all the languages. It's kind of the same thing. It's more or less It's vent. It's a international language. That's the reason I chose the vent. That was the vent. That was the reason behind it. Because if I say it in English or in Spanish or in Romanian, it's kind of understandable. Like I don't have to explain it too much.
That's really, really important when you have a
Right?
multilingual business.
Exactly, exactly. So I don't have to translate too much. Like my formulas don't go. And then I noticed the pattern. The reason how I came up with the formula is that I noticed the pattern, right? People are having patterns when you do vent, when you do complain, you do have a pattern going. Yet the pattern usually it's stuck in the back. Like you're bringing the past into the present. And you remember, especially as women, right? We remember when you left the shoes at the door, in the front of the door, and you did not. Oh, yeah, if this happens like 5 months down the road, we still remember that.
My guy accuses me of that. He says, women remember what they were wearing on the day that the conversation happened, that I don't even remember the day, much less the conversation, and certainly not what I was wearing. So.
Yes, like the holidays, the birthdays, our anniversary, out of this, out of that. And my poor husband is going, I remember the anniversary. I'm like, what is it that you're doing so you can remember the anniversary? I said, relax. It's not really that important to me. No, it is important to me. I know you're saying that because you're testing me. I'm like, okay. So poor husband, just relax, everybody. It is important and is not important. So, coming back to present, people were just talking and talking, and I noticed the pattern that it was more negativity, the negativity part. And I'm like, okay, I need to learn this. I need to learn. I did not know how I was going to do it. Yet I said, no. I need to learn something because this is not going to continue this way.
I can imagine it would make working with people very, very difficult.
To be honest with you, it got to a point where I wanted to really get out of the business. Simply because of my language, right? I said, you know what? I don't know what I speak. I don't know what I speak anymore. So I'm like, I just want to disappear. And it came down to that. It came down to that where I had my clients, they're like, no. You are not going to be doing any of that. You're going to figure out a way to, and this too, this was coming back to Canada, right? Because I spent quite a few years, about 9-10 years in US. And this is coming from building spas and, and having, and being successful, having the success with the kids. And as the kids were little, we were just kind of traveling because I wanted to travel a lot. So we traveled a lot. So this was coming from the States, coming back to Canada. I'm like, no. I'm just going to play it small. I'm not going to do anything, that big anymore. I'm just going to be home for the kids because now the children were in school. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be here for them. So I got to a point where I said, okay, if I'm not going to do this, what am I going to do? So I went and looking, and I kind of stumbled upon life skill coaching. Life skills coaching. I'm like, what in the world is this? Like, this sounds really interesting. And guess what? What they were teaching, Jackie, that I was like so intrigued, was actual language. And I'm like, oh, right, this is my alley, because learning languages, right? Well, what do I do every day? Learning vocabulary, like reading vocabulary. My children were making fun of me, you're reading vocabulary, really, Mom? Like, here's another book. So the way you're shifting your language, the words that come out of your mouth, it was touching all these areas. And then it went into question concepts. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean question concepts? Didn't we learn that in grade 10? And they're like, yeah. And then they had a version of it, not too deep, which I actually took a lot deeper. I go and I strip it off, the 5WH questions. And then we were talking about feelings. And did you know the feelings have a formula?
Okay.
I didn't. I'm like, wow, this is structured, man. So I'm like, okay, this is really good. This is really good. So I'm learning all this information and I'm like, oh my goodness. And as soon as I started to learn something like a little bit, I would use it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like, oh my goodness, night and day. And I don't have to give you my opinion anymore. Oh, he was like, what do you mean? So you mean I don't have to give my opinion? And it's like, no, Camy, you're actually not supposed to do that, because everybody has that within them. And I said, well, I kind of knew that. Well, this was like 20 somewhat years ago, right? So I said, I kind of knew that. I figured that one out, yet I didn't know how to put it in practice. So after I finished the whole course, I kind of sat and looked at it. And I don't know how to explain it, yet things like this were popping up. It's like, okay, I was finding the trend, right? Like people are going too much into the past as we are venting with no particular guidance. Mm-hmm. Right? We're going too much into the past and we're getting so emotional. And then the words that we're using, oh my goodness. And you, and it's because of you, and you make me feel, and you are doing this, and he makes me feel, and this. And I was going, oh my goodness. So how am I going to do this? Mm. So I said, okay, if I don't control this session, the session will be controlled by somebody else. and usually it's not a good thing. And it's not a good thing. So I said, okay, let me control it. So let's control this. So I said, okay. So the conversation would be going kind of like, I noticed one trend that I noticed is that people were not validated enough. So in other words,
oh yeah. Tell us what validated means in this context. Cool.
So validate. So I noticed that people were not validated, and they were afraid to say how they feel because you're going to judge me now. Am I going to, shall I say that I feel angry? Because what are you going to say? What are you going to say? So I feel angry, yet no, I'm not going to say that. So I'm not going to validate it. So that's the reason now I'm going immediately into exploring, which is the past. So I'm not validating how I'm feeling. I'm going into the past and I'm bringing it up front so that I can throw it in your face. Okay. Never mind navigating it, because navigating, where am I going to go from here? I really don't know. And I don't care where the hell we're going to go from here. Excuse my language. Yet that's what we're thinking, right? Thankful? What are we going to be thankful for? He forgot to close and lock the door and take the garbage out whenever he knew that he was supposed to take the garbage out. So what's the reason that he did not do that without me having to say it? So you see how we just exploded. So what is it that we just did? We just took care of the explore part, which it's an important point, yet it cannot be that long. It has to be a shortened part. So validation. So how do you feel? And it took me about 10 minutes to figure out how they felt until they actually unleashed of how they feel. So how do you feel? How does this feel? How does this feel? How do you feel? Close your eyes. And what threw them over is that I had them close their eyes, because you see, when you validate, you need to validate with your eyes closed, simply because that will take you within.
So pause. What you're talking about is walking someone through a series of exercises where they are doing this for themselves. You're not talking about you validating what they're feeling. You're talking about them validating what they're feeling.
Yes.
Okay. So this is why I said you got to stop and pause about what does validate mean?
It's for them to validate, and for you as a you see,
what does validate mean? If I don't know what validate means, I can't follow the conversation, and I'm not sure what you mean by validate.
Oh, you mean you're talking about like the definition. Validate means to verify, to support, to back up.
Oh, okay.
To confirm.
Thank you.
Okay, to authenticate.
Okay. So,
all right.
So someone who doesn't have their feelings confirmed by themselves, but they're not,
yes.
or supported. Okay, cool. So they're in the need of validation.
Yes. Yes, we are all in need of validation. Everybody, as human beings, we are in need. I need you to support what I'm saying, right? Because subconsciously, right? Like I'm not thinking about it per se, yet I'm in need of that. I crave that from you, to be validated, to be supported, to be.
What does the opposite of validated look like? What
the opposite do you mean turned down,
got it,
not unsupported.
Okay, cool. Thank you for pausing there, because I knew I would struggle to follow the rest of the formula if I didn't understand what this word meant to you.
I apologize. Yes, I needed to go to the dictionary definition. I do have it. It's to prove, to substantiate, verify, support, back up, confirm, justify, vindicate, authenticate. So this does not necessarily need to happen as much. Well, it needs to happen in both ways. Actually, it needs to happen from within. Yet it's from within first, because we are so much distracted by the outside world, right? Like, how are you going? If I'm telling you I feel angry right now, how are you going to react? Because you see, you're not going to respond. I know you're going to react. So how are you going to react if I tell you that I don't feel okay, or that I don't feel good, that I actually feel angry, or I can actually feel anxious, or I could actually, now anxious, now it's a bit lower than angry. Anger, it's a bit higher than anger.
Most people would respond by trying to change the emotion, by trying to dial it down, by trying to make you feel better.
Yeah, like it's like, no, I feel good. It's like what we were talking about, that we lie to ourselves to begin with. And then we're not validated, we're not supported, we're not being supported by ourselves. And then coming on the outside, because they trusted me, they really craved my validation, my support towards them. In other words, it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay. You are good. You are okay. Oh, okay. So you're not angry with me? My goodness, I'm not. What would be the reason I am that I would be like that? Like, no. Let's see, how do we feel? How do we actually feel? So that's the validation. Take some time into actually validate the kids, validate your spouse. Our spouses, the same thing. All they need is the validation. They're just big boys, you know what I mean?
What does it look like? I want you to give us, so if your husband comes to you and says that he's angry, what would it sound like or look like for you to validate that?
Oh, so I'll be going, so how do you feel? Oh, well, I'm angry and pissed off and this and that. And he would rage on. And I'm like, okay. So tell me more about it. Tell me about it.
So that seems to be explore. What would
No. It's not where we're going. What we're going to do about it. No, I said, tell me about it.
Okay. So I don't understand explore yet. So, okay. So tell me more about it is validate.
So tell me more about it. No, you have the validation part the exploration of the validation part is being done in the here and now. What is going on?
Yeah.
Exploration is like, what happened, right? How did you get here? How did you get? Tell me more. It's not about, hold on, because I will take him there again. I will take him there again on the explore part. Yet on the validation part, they need to be heard and they need to finish and complete whatever they're rambling about.
Got it. So tell me more is the key.
They can say, they can go in the back, in the past, they can go into the future, they can go wherever they want to go. Is validate, let them validate
Nothing to explore is more directive. This is just being open to the conversation.
Open to the conversation, right? So it's not about shutting him down. It's about, okay, so tell me more about it. Oh, really? And this guy was so dumb. Oh, was he? My goodness. Tell me more about that.
Oh boy, this is not an easy process.
Oh yeah. No. It's not. And you can only imagine me being with the client on the table and a lady in particular, and he did this and he did. Really? He did? Oh my goodness. Compared to before, I would be going, really? He did that to you? Oh my gosh. Like, how can he do that? How can? Total different approach. The same person, right? I'll be going, I can't believe that. Really? Is that what he did? I can't believe that. To the change of, oh, he did that. Tell me more about it. What did he do in particular? That, oh, and he did, and I felt, he made me feel. Oh, so you felt how? Oh, when he did what? Oh my goodness. And as a result, what did you do? How did you feel as a result? Oh, you mean, oh. So now I'm making them think. I'm actually getting them to think of what they're wanting to say, because they need to take responsibility for how they feel. So there's a huge process into that, into the validation. Now, we're moving on into the explore. We want to know, how did you get to this point? How did you get, what happened that you got so, you got so ticked off, angry, whatever it was. So what happened? I need to, now, he already told me all this in the validate part, remember? Now I'm bringing his attention on a focus. So tell me, so you were working and what happened? So you were working and this guy came. So I needed to pay attention though into the validation, because he did say something about all that. You have to pay attention on the key points, because he would yell at you, or anybody will yell at you the important points, right?
Got it. So look for where there's intensity of emotion. Those are the important points.
Yeah, because that's what it is. So that's the reason it's so important to let them let it out. Just let it out. Just let it out. Just say it. However you want to say it, say it. Now I'm going to focus you in. So you were working, you were saying you were working. I apologize. Okay, allow me to understand you. So you were working and you were doing what? And he did what? And they did what? And as a result, you are feeling what? Oh, angry, really? So you let them control how you feel, right? And they're like, well, he would be like, well, since I've been talking to you, I'm feeling a lot better now. And I said, listen, hey, you feel pissed off, and that's cool. That's cool. That's good. That's a good emotion. Yet you feel pissed off because you allowed yourself to feel pissed off, not because of the situation. Or do you? Yeah, that's what it was. I I can see it now better. Great. So now navigate. So what are you going to do about it? Give me three things that you're going to do about it. What are you going to do about that? So this is where the three things come in handy, because after you're done, you're saying, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know, Camy. I don't know. And then I go, if you knew, what would you say? And that's where it goes, okay, well, I could do this and I could do that and I could do great. Out of the three things, which one are you going to do? Well, I really want to do this one. Okay, does that feel good? Close your eyes. Does that feel good? No, I think I want to go for number two. Okay, let's get number two up front. Close your eyes. Does that feel good? Yeah, that feels better. Okay, now hold on. Is number three feeling better? Or is number two still feeling good? No, number two is feeling good. Number two is feeling good. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing this with me. I learned a lot. You know, I learned that I cannot be allowing anymore. That was a good lesson for me, because I could see in you how upset you were from something outside of your control. And you know, I do that a lot. So I appreciate you showing me that. So you see how I go to me? What is it that I've learned instead of before? Okay, before the skills happen, would be the conversation would kind of go like, well, he's coming in and blah, 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 blah. And I'll be going, don't want to listen to you right now. How about we take this up about 5 minutes down the road? And he would be going, well, you don't care, and you this, and you that, and you that. And it's like, okay, I need to go into my room because we need some space here. You see how it all exploded out of nothing, instead of taking a few minutes to kind of regroup and take this, you know, kind of focus a little bit.
So how
To
much
have
time does it typically take to go through this? Somebody who you care about is, you know, having a moment, we'll say. And so I'm going to follow the system. How much time would I realistically want to have available before I would start the system?
Well, there's a little bit more involved to the system. Okay, so there's a few lessons, because it will give you a little bit of an idea of using the words. Like, we're not using try and we're not using why. It will take, once you master it, it's about 5 minutes. It's about 5-minute process, depending on how much they have on the validate part. Yet you can cut that down as well, saying, okay, hold on, you know, and guide them through it. You can cut it off.
Okay, because I'm thinking that this is a very useful thing, but it's more useful in the moment if I can learn to do it with myself. It's sort of where I'm hearing you come from, that this is useful as it may be with partners and clients and, you know, anyone else. And there's more depth, and I know you have the information that we're giving to everybody, which will give them some of the explanation behind this.
Yes.
It seems like a very useful tool for having the conversation with myself.
Yes, definitely. The self is first.
Okay.
Once you get to be an expert of self, taking yourself through this, you'll be able to take somebody else through it.
Cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and let people have the access to your gift, which is this worksheet for doing this work with yourself, for reflecting this work for yourself. And so first person who tests the link, let us know that it's working and that you can get it. That would be cool if you would just pop it into the chat that you were able to get that. So this is an amazing system for actually dialing down the drama in a very constructive way. And there's a pivot point right in the middle where it's like, try this, it's, are you aware that you gave other people control? And so that was before you get to navigate, it's first breaking that cycle of thinking by making, are you aware that you gave other people control of your emotions?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge piece. And I know your language was slightly different because I didn't catch it verbatim, but it's in the worksheet. I know. So people will be able to get it in Camy language, because to help people develop the awareness of where they have actually given up their own emotional stability to their environment or to other people. And I'm like, I got a guy, Camy. Okay, my guy Mark. I haven't talked about my guy Mark much,
No.
right? And so my guy Mark is
Yes.
one of those, and I'm sure that somebody on here might be able to relate. If a traffic light turns red in his face, it is a personal matter for him.
Taking things personally.
Yeah, it's a personal matter for him. And I'm imagining this whole vent conversation, this system. And when he is absolutely certain that the world is conspiring against him because the traffic lights are all turning red, I'm thinking I'll wait until we're out of the car. And then I'll ask, about having a conversation, because it seems like this system will only work if someone is volunteering for the conversation. If they're started out complaining to you, not just like him complaining about the traffic lights, but if he was coming to me with a complaint, then that's almost tacit approval to be able to help them validate it.
Well, you see how I will take, if I were in the car with him, I take people through this formula constantly, at all times, at any time. So how I will do it if I were in the car, so I'll be going like, oh, that light, darn light. Tell me about it. Oh, that stupid light and everything, blah, 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 and everything's about, wow, tell me more about it. And let them do it. Let them go for it. So they will go for it and they'll go for it. And then when they don't have anything more to say, I'm like, I'll be going like, yeah, I see where you're going with this. I'll just look away and look to them. Look away and look at them. Look away, because that's gonna get them to focus. So I'll say, so how did you get here? How did you get to be this angry? Or anger is not the word. Oh, I'm just obsessed with it and I'm just this. Please give me the word. So I will use their words, whatever the words is it. So while he's driving, I mean, I'll have this conversation with them. Like, okay, just breathe. So how did you get there? Well, is that because you see what's happening with him is that it's a paradigm. And that's another thing that it's another thing for another time, another discussion for another time. Yet something has happened that triggered him. So that light is triggering him for whatever reason. And we're wanting to figure out that reason. And the main reason that it's triggering him basically is because he feels as if the world is against him, right? And he relates that to the world or to something. So we need to figure out, that's the reason for the exploration. So tell me, how did you get to this particular conclusion that this light sucks? Really? So you allow this light to control how you feel right here, right now.
I can see that as soon as I say those words, Mark is going to be in denial. No, I didn't. I'm just mad. But he,
really?
Tell
me more about that.
So tell me more about that. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So let him get it. You let him get, yes, of course he's gonna be in denial until he's gonna be against it because you're changing the paradigm. So by doing this, you're changing his thought pattern. You're actually focusing him into looking. So he will go into all those stages of denial, of negativity, of pushing you, of, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
It's
just
a
be
normal.
prepared. Yeah. And I'm going that, and my thing about not doing it while he was driving is just anything that makes someone volatile behind the wheel, I get really nervous. So that's about me. Yeah. And so I just realized, oh no, that's about me. Yeah.
Yeah, it is about us. It is about, in the end, it's all about us.
In the end,
All
it's
about
all
us.
about us. Yep.
In the end.
So that's really, really cool, Camy. Oh, pardon me. What happened in your world? What changed? What did you notice that changed when you started shifting into using this methodology for talking with people?
Oh my goodness. To just summarize it very quickly, I noticed, first of all, I was not in conflict with them at all times. And I felt so much at peace because I didn't have to give my opinion anymore. Can you imagine that? Oh my goodness, because I took responsibility for giving my opinion. And then on their side, see, I was doing all this without telling them. Now I'm taking you through the Venn formula and all that stuff.
That was my other thing is, do you tell them what you're doing?
No, 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 no. They did not know. They did not know what it was happening. Yet this is what they were telling me. Oh, and they started shifting their words because a few words I was watching for that. So I was redirecting. So in other words, when they say, "Oh, she made me feel," so you felt how when she said that? What did she say to that you felt that way? So then they will start saying, I feel like this when she did that. So they were doing the formula without even them thinking. And then they were starting telling me, oh, you know what? I got a new contract and I made more money. And I did this and I did that. And it's like, I was like, okay, so our conversations as a whole started shifting as well. So the law of attraction was attracting what we were talking about instead of all the negativity. It was starting to attract, taking responsibility was attracting a lot.
So being able to hold the space for a conversation where other people can express their emotions freely.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
This is a skill set because the initial reaction to dial it down, to give an opinion, to do something to shift the energy rather than inviting more.
Yes.
So
yes,
I love the fact that you have the worksheet that we can actually use this to practice. And
yes.
that's really, really important. And so Olivia, I love your name. So Olivia is talking about this, shifting their conversation, reframing our words. And the best part is we don't get tired from the conversations.
No, you if you are getting tired, you're getting emotionally detached.
Okay, so detach is an interesting word. All right, we're going to go to what is the actual step-by-step process to detach from something. Because I know people who are like, yeah, I gave my problems to God, but they had claw marks on them,
Yeah. A very quick way. How are we doing with time?
I'm fine on time. That's my job.
Oh, good. Okay. Detach. Okay. A very easy thing that I do for everybody is to, as you breathe in and breathe out, imagine a ball of white light right on top of your head. And then that white light spreads all over you and it kind of unfolds you like a cocoon. Okay. And then you need to feel the presence of that little cocoon around you. Okay. Then there's an umbilical cord, right? Like we were babies, right? The umbilical cord, right? And that umbilical cord automatically arrives and attaches to things all of a sudden, kind of like, because that's when we attach to things, right? Emotionally, when we create that umbilical cord, is kind of like the emotion. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to attach to this, and I'm going to attach to that, and I'm going to attach to the other. Okay. So now, as we are in this cocoon, just imagine we're cutting the umbilical cords all around us, like all those little cords that are coming out, just cutting them, and just be within you. And when you feel centered is when you know, as a result of it, you will feel centered. You will feel aligned with yourself.
Great exercise. I love the visualization of it being something tangible that we can actually do something about, because
Yes.
that's much easier for my brain to follow. So that was super simple and very, very effective. And I appreciate that. And so as we're coming into this conversation about, if somebody doesn't know this process and I want to complain to them, what's the best thing for me to do? If I find myself in the middle of complaining to someone, do I just stop and take myself through the process?
Yes, that's correct. That's the best thing to do. Thank you for asking. That's an amazing question. Thank you for asking that. That's the best thing to do. And what I noticed, speaking of that, those are my clients that were mentioning that whoever listens to you has a different kind of respect when they see you do that. Many people, we are afraid to say, oh my goodness, to say, hey, you know what? Hold on. Please forgive me. I'm going to recollect myself and I'm going to start again. When somebody takes responsibility for that, oh my goodness, can you imagine how powerful that is? Especially if you're doing it in front of your clients, their respect towards you, because that you noticed and you stopped yourself, even though it was difficult. It was a difficult thing to do. I do that all the time. I'm a human being. I know the process. I know this. Yet I get one of those little umbilical cords from my cocoon, and it's like, okay, I attach to it, and then I realize about halfway through, and I'm like, you know what? I apologize. I almost ripped your head off. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Allow me to start all over again. And then I go back again. I go into validate. You know what? I feel blah when this happened. And as a result, so I feel it has to be a feeling work. I felt disappointed when I saw you, ripping off your the paperwork that you just did, because you worked so hard. And as a result, I just didn't know where to go and what to say. And I just blurbed at you. So now, how can we fix this? Please allow me to start again.
Got it. So using the process as a way to even reset the conversation.
Definitely.
Cool.
Definitely. And that is so welcome. Believe me, I know our perception right now is that, oh my goodness, if I do that, I'm going to lose that $1 million contract. Oh my goodness. Guys, the $1 million guys that pay you the $1 million, they're human beings. And all they want from you is to see the authenticity, right? To see that you're taking responsibility for messing up. And you know what? Let's start up again. I just want you to be human.
There we go.
Yeah.
Start up again and just be human. What a great idea. Wouldn't it be a lot easier if we gave ourselves permission to just be human? And so that's been a theme actually for a good bit of this season, is just be.
Just be you.
Yeah, just be you. I do love those glasses. So being able to come out of a complaining conversation using this system so that you can reframe and shift is such a great gift to the world, because we are humans in conversation with other humans. I say it's like we're round objects hitting round objects. We don't know which directions things are going to fly, but this gives us a chance to maybe control the velocity that we impact others with. And so thank you very much, Camy, for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. And I wanted to kind of end with this, if I may. We all, like Les Brown said, we all have greatness. You have greatness in you. We all have greatness in us. And we just need to be reminded of that. And if we can take a little bit of time to vent in a more of a focused way, our whole world will just shift.
Sounds good to me. Here's to the shift. Thank you very, very much, Camy.